Before we start, I have a hater in the comments. Just so you know, it's not anyone on the screen right now. Don't go after them. Quite honestly, I love these guys. They're actually like they were there when I was just like Nemo. What is like they're kind of like my favorite. Well, I wouldn't say favorite because I all treat you all equally. So yeah, they're the most loyal ones, I'd say. But this one, oh ho ho, the one I replied to. Yes, I know I don't reply to your comments as often, but that doesn't mean I don't see them. I spend my time reading them as well. Don't worry about it. But anyways, this one, it's an interesting one. It's interesting, really. But I have one question though. Am I supposed to feel offended in any way, shape, or form? How am I supposed to feel? I legit need to tell. I need you to tell me. Like you're over here talking about how I need to stop talking about like my life. See, this is what you don't understand. I'm not talking about my life. See, the funny thing is, the whole reason why I even started this channel was to just test out my creativity. Like, quite honestly, I didn't have high hopes for this channel at all. And everybody in this channel can actually tell you that. I had no high hopes for this channel whatsoever. No high hopes whatsoever. I thought I was gonna get like 100 subs and then like shit. That's all it's gonna be. I didn't think I was gonna get to like 5k or anything like that. Nah. I just thought like, oh, 100 subs. That's cool. I'm not all about the subs. Like, you honestly think that I want the subs? No. I don't want the subs. I'm not trying to get fame or anything like that. No. I'm not trying to get fame. Alright? That's possibly one of the last things I want. Alright, sure, yeah, even though I'm making what ifs, oh, you need to understand. But still, I'm not trying to get the fame or anything like that. I'm not really talking about my life, buddy. I'm talking about how I feel on things that happen in the world. And quite honestly, most people would actually be like, most of the people that are listening actually pay attention to the shit that happens in the world. And quite honestly, I make them less confused for most people if you don't understand. I don't try to confuse people a lot unless it's like with my what ifs, like the power I'm giving them. But even the powers I give them are not even confusing. Quite honestly, everybody in the comments, everybody in the comments that, like, out of all my what ifs, if we combine all those comments into one, all those people that commented, doesn't matter if you commented once or twice, 3 times, hell, even 5, no, 6, 1,000 times, I don't care. All of them could tell you this one thing. I don't care about being hated on. Quite honestly, I don't care about haters or anything like that. Your insults don't really hurt me. They don't hurt me in any way, shape, or form. Quite honestly, the last thing I actually care about is people like you criticizing me. So, you don't really have to worry about what I'm doing in my what ifs. If you're worried, yeah, you could be worried, but you need to understand, you can't just tell me how to do my what ifs. Try first. You have to try first. You have to try first before you know what I'm going through. Because you need to understand, when you're into something, alright, this happens to everybody, alright? Don't act like I'm the only one. When you're so interested into something, like, you're just so caught onto something, so hooked onto this one thing, sure, it may not even be, like, related to the main point or anything like that as you're trying to say. You still get interested in it and you find your way straying afar from the main point all the way to the side point. You need to understand that. There are some things that just catch your attention and you just gotta go. Even though you're supposed to be doing one thing. That's kind of how it is for me. And it's not because I have a slow brain or my brain can't process things as quick or I'm just dumb. No, it's just a common occurrence. It's not that I have a short attention span. No, it's not that I have that. Because you see me often. Everybody sees me often. Even though I stray afar from the whole what if most of the time, I still get my way back. And it's not just like, oh, wait, what was I doing? No, I immediately get back to the what if. And sure, it may take me just a few seconds to get back to where I was, I still get back to it. So don't worry about what I'm doing in my what ifs. If you want me to listen to you, at least give me an example of you trying your best not to get distracted during the what ifs. Because the whole reason that I'm doing my what ifs today is because of my subs. I'm doing it to entertain them, not just for one person, but for everybody. Alright, you need to understand. I'm trying to make your day, make you feel happy. If you don't feel happy, then you don't have to come. It's not really my problem. It's yours. solve it yourself. You can't really just come after me because I'm trying to help other people apart from you. My what ifs aren't just for you. Stop thinking that the whole world revolves around you, alright? The world does not revolve around you. This is not an anime. This is not a TV show. You're not the main character. You're not the protagonist. You're not anything. Calm down, bro. You're just another human being. Matter of fact, we shouldn't even be considered human beings. We act nothing like human beings, alright? First of all, you're just showing that you're straying far, far away from what a human being is supposed to be. Quite honestly, if you didn't know, human beings are supposed to be the representation of God. We're supposed to be in His image. But we act nothing like God. Nothing at all, if you haven't noticed. So, I can't really call us human being. We're just something. An existence. Alright? We're just something. We're nothing, as a matter of fact. Yeah, we're nothing. Alright? We're nothing. Alright? The only reason we're humans or something was because God gave us the name. Because our Creator gave us the right to be something. So you can't really just criticize somebody even though you're not that higher than them. You need to learn to respect people equally. Stop looking down on people or stop criticizing them or anything like that. Bro, my what if isn't just for you, it's for everybody, alright? So don't worry about what I'm doing in my what ifs if I'm just talking about my life or anything. If I'm talking about my life, you need to understand just as well as everybody else does. I'm talking about my life so you can get a better understanding of me and how I think. Alright? Okay then. I'm not gonna get too deep into you, alright? So yeah, let's start with the what if. Oh, as you can see, I have many other what ifs to do. Oh, many other what ifs. But anyways, let's start off with the what if. This is part 2 of what if Deku married Squirrel Girl. Alright, last where I left off, well, Deku just left, the computer room with T'Challa after it got hacked because they tried to play with his, defensive virus, alright? So yeah, as Deku went outside, T'Challa called him and said that he's going to be training him in shadow combat, as all the Avengers, including Squirrel Girl's eyes widen. As Deku looks around, he says, "Why is everybody so surprised?" As T'Challa explains that he is the only person that is able to actually use shadow combat because he's the creator and he's never taught it to anybody. As he's surprised as well, but not as shocked as the other Avengers. Because he doesn't know much about, T'Challa's abilities or anything like that. No, he just knows that this guy is a king, he's a strong adversary, and he's a really, compassionate person in his country. He doesn't know much about T'Challa, but he'll learn more about T'Challa. As Squirrel Girl starts saying, well, I guess this trip is going to be longer than we expected. As basically, they said, what do you mean? Well, no, not them, T'Challa. As Squirrel Girl explains that she was going to just let him stay here for just a week, just to, get to know you, the technology and stuff like that, and train a little bit, because, I'm going to have to bring him to Galactus. As T'Challa's eyes widen, he says, what, why would you bring him to him? As Squirrel Girl explains that, Izuku, he's not fond of the outside world. Quite honestly, the last thing he wants to see is the outside world. He'd rather see the world burn than actually live to protect it anymore, due to how much pain he's been through. As T'Challa looks at Izuku and he says, yes, I understand where you're coming from. But he's going to be going into space. Sure, Galactus can protect him, but he'll need some combat himself when Galactus is asleep or just not there in general. As basically, hold on. Alright then, so he explains, alright, I'm a little riled up, I need to stop, alright? I'm still thinking about what happened earlier with the whole argument. Well, not really argument. I'd call it a one-man slaughter, since I chewed him up a little bit, but, let me calm down. Alright, I'm calm now. I wasn't angry, alright? I wasn't angry. Calm down. I wasn't angry. You guys don't have to be worried. You don't have to go after him, alright? You all know I don't really care about it, alright? I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated or anything. No, I just got a little riled up and, I tried to help him understand, alright? I'm not really one to get angry because of something like that. Alright, so, yeah. So, basically, where was I? Right. As basically T'Challa says, I understand where you're coming from. And stuff like that, as they explained, as Izuku looks at them confused because he doesn't know about Galactus or anything like that. He doesn't know about like the cosmic entities or gods or anything like that because he doesn't know that those gods are actually real. Because he knows about the gods and stuff like that. He idolizes them, but he doesn't know that they're actually real. He doesn't even know about Wanda because Wanda doesn't really show her powers that much. But yeah, but quite honestly, something's gonna happen with Wanda and Izuku when Wanda actually decides to, well, watch Izuku while everybody's doing something in the future. It's not that far into the future. It's not gonna be like anything like, oh, sexual intercourse. No, it's gonna be something that involves like her abilities and Izuku's soon to be metahuman abilities. Well, not really metahuman abilities, because he won't really be a metahuman. Since it's kind of hard to explain. Alright. So basically Izuku, he says, wait, who's Galactus? As basically Squirrel Girl says, oh right, you don't know about Galactus. Many people don't know about him, only the people in New York do. Right, so let me explain. As Izuku says okay, as T'Challa says, I think it should be me who explains, because I've actually, well, faced off with him before, and many other cosmic beings. As they look at T'Challa and they agree, because, well, T'Challa, he actually was, he actually, faced off with other cosmic beings, for example, Logos, and he actually, well, met his gods and stuff like that. So, yeah, they let him explain. So he explains about Galactus and how he ate planets before until Squirrel Girl defeated him and, well, made his new diet nuts. Finally, remembered the word diet. Stupid ass me. But anyways, yeah, she explained that as Deku, he's surprised that someone this destructive actually exists. And the funny thing is, he's probably one of the weakest of the celestial beings. He's strong to, well, the human race, yeah, he's practically destructive. He's a catastrophe class, but still, he's one of the weakest compared to, well, most of the, well, of the cosmic beings like Eternity and, the one above all, and stuff like that. Hold on. Alrighty then. So yeah, alright, let's continue. As basically Deku's surprised about this, but he's also intrigued. Cause he never knew that Eternity was actually an actual person, and there were many other people. So he actually wants to meet these beings. Well, he will in the future, but it's kind of dangerous of how they really shouldn't be around him. Yeah, it's kind of gonna be bad. Really bad, actually. Yeah, it's gonna be really, really bad. Yeah, cause Deku is possibly one of the only people that could actually kill all of them. Alright, one of the only two people. Alright? Now, the second person that could also kill them is actually, well, we actually know about him. He's the Chaos King. Alright? This is the Chaos King. The Chaos King is kind of like the yin to, well, their yang. So he can rival them and practically kill him. As a matter of fact, not even Eternity wants to fight him. So, yeah. Yeah. Not even Eternity. That nigga right there, Eternity, wants to fight him. Hold on. So yeah, if Eternity doesn't want to fight this nigga, that's just great, isn't it? But anyways, Deku could practically kill all of them. Okay? And I mean all of them. But that's for another time. He's not gonna kill them. Don't worry. Because they need to be alive so the universe can go around. Yay! So basically, Deku, he's ecstatic. He just wants to know more about them. He wants to train with them. He wants to fight. Well, not fight them. He wants to train with them because he wants to get stronger. But anyways, T'Challa says, no time. We have to train you. As T'Challa basically takes Deku to like the training room, I think, or like that field. Yeah, basically the training room and the field. And the two of them, they duke it out. T'Challa using the shadow combat movements, and Izuku picking it up rather quickly. Actually, after 2 hours of fighting, he actually picks it up, which is quite surprising since T'Challa, he's tried teaching it to many people, but they were incapable of learning it. Not even after a whole 2 to 3 weeks. which kind of surprised him. So T'Challa, he said, this kid, he legitimately said to Izuku that Izuku is a fighting prodigy. Not like Goku, but better than Goku. And here come the Goku dick riders. But can he be Goku? No. Like really, I should slap you all. Like if y'all come in my comments and you're like, but can he be Goku? Quite honestly, I really do think he can be Goku. But it depends on which Goku it is. Base form, like I'd say around base form Super Saiyan 1, he getting clapped. I don't know about Super Saiyan 2 and higher, but Super Saiyan 1 and lower, yes, I think about it. I think he can beat Goku. But it depends on which percent Deku's using. Like Goku around like 50% could probably beat base form Goku. 100% for Super Saiyan 1. But we don't really care about whether he can beat Goku or not. This is my what if, so of course anyone in my what if can beat the living crap out of Goku. Goku is dog shit, alright? So don't come in my comments. Damn. If you really want to go pester somebody about who can beat Goku, go to somebody else's comments. Shit, I want you to go watch that time I got reincarnated as a slime, because I promise you, the main protagonist clapping Goku on so many levels that this nigga doesn't even need to use a finger. Nigga just looks at him and he's dead, alright? But anyways, yeah, let's continue. So basically, he tells Deku that he's a fighting prodigy. And he's wondering how that is. Hold on. Okie dokie then. So, anyways. T'Challa tells Deku he's a fighting prodigy, and Deku's wondering why. As T'Challa explained that he tried to teach many people in Wakanda the shadow combat technique, but, well, they couldn't learn it, no matter how much days and stuff like that, and there are probably some that still try to learn it to this day. Which Deku is surprised since, well, he found out that, well, he's the first and only person that was actually able to learn it. And that actually caught him off guard. As basically, yeah, that's kind of how it is. As basically Deku says, okay. As Deku continues to train with, you know what? Let's just say Deku is 14. Yeah, Deku is, no. What age would you be when you get into high school? You'd be 15 or 14. I'm 15 in high school and I'm in 9th grade. I'm turning 16 in August. Hold up. Deku's 14. Yeah, 14. 14. Yes, 14. That's good. Yeah, definitely. 14. 14. So, basically, Deku is 14. Deku, he is 14 years old, and he learned shadow combat. As a matter of fact, he's brilliant at it, quite honestly. I don't know if you can do a reverse version of shadow combat, because that would be light combat for Deku. Deku would use it as light combat. So anyways, oof. So Deku, he doing light combat, alright? He doing light combat. He's trying to train light combat. He's trying to do every move of shadow combat, but in reverse. As is, like, he's trying to find a counter, but reverse, right? He's doing it reverse to try to counter the move, alright? He's trying, not like from the, like, finishing move to the first move. No, like he's doing every move in reverse, trying to counter the shadow combat. As he actually tried it on T'Challa, and he surprised T'Challa, because T'Challa, he can notice some of the moves, and he can notice that all of them are the moves in shadow combat, but he does not know what type of combat this is. As he said, Izuku, what type of move is that? As Izuku said, this is light combat. As their eyes widened, as they said, what? No such combat exists. As Izuku says, I know. I actually made it using your shadow combat. As he says, how? As he says, I reversed all of your movements for shadow combat. As T'Challa, he's surprised. He knew that this kid was a fighting genius, but at this level, to be able to actually counter shadow combat, one of the most formidable combats, wow. As he says, this kid is incredible. As basically, that happened. So they trained for, so that month's over, and now Izuku, he's with Wanda now. Wanda, she's in charge of taking care of Izuku since they have hero work to do right now. There's villains, so they have hero work to do right now. It's basically Wanda's taking care of Izuku because she's reliable and she's strong as hell. So yeah, as basically Wanda says, Izuku, come with me. As basically Izuku and Wanda just stay in a secure place and stuff like that. But over time, Wanda felt confused in some sort of way. Real confused. So basically, that happens. As basically, Deku just continues to, well, suck, on Wanda's chaos energy, and Wanda started to notice this as she looked at Izuku and she started to see a significant amount of chaos energy inside of her. So she practically, I wouldn't say she has she's the embodiment of chaos energy. So yeah, I'd say around infinity. Yeah. So Izuku took in a significant amount, and she was thinking that he should probably be burning or some sort of side effect should be happening to him, but no. What surprises her is that after a few more minutes, the suction starts getting stronger to the point where he might as well be considered a black hole. Sure, she has a lot of power and it doesn't really affect her, but still, it should be affecting Izuku like no tomorrow, but Izuku's fine. As a matter of fact, it's as if it doesn't even bother him. As Wanda goes closer to Izuku, which makes it worse, because it gets even faster than before. As Wanda makes contact with Izuku, and the moment she made contact with Izuku, it's as if nearly, like, if she hadn't, like, a power, like, if her power was at least just, like, if she could only use, like, the captivity, like the space, like the amount that she's able to use, the amount of chaos magic she's able to use was at least a few quintillions. Deku would have taken it all. She would have been sucked dry of all that chaos energy, which surprised her, cause she's never met anyone, and even if it was Rogue, she could not take her energy that fast, which surprised her. So so she tapped Izuku as Izuku says, huh? As she says, I want you to do something for me. As Izuku says, sure. As Wanda, she says, I want you to imagine the space in the room cracking. As Izuku says, okay. As he imagines it. He imagines it real nice. As all of a sudden he hears the sound of kind of like glass breaking, like a tss sound. As he looks and he sees in front of him that the space around him, like not just like space that's in front of him or behind him, no, the space surrounding the space, every piece of space inside that room had some sort of a crack on it. As Izuku was surprised and he thought that he did something bad. As Wanda said, Izuku, calm down. Because Izuku, after seeing this, he thought that he did something bad and he was panicking. As Wanda, seeing as he's panicking even more, grabs him and pulls him into a hug and says, Izuku, calm down. As Izuku says, but I cracked space. I did something bad. As Wanda says, don't worry, I can fix it. As Wanda proceeds to fix up all the cracks. As Izuku says, huh? I have the same power as you? As Wanda says, I don't think that's it. Well, for now, you have my powers. But in the future, you may have other powers. As he says, well, what's your abilities? As Wanda says, well, I have chaos magic. I'm the embodiment of chaos magic. So I shouldn't really be affected by it, but it seems that you're also not affected by it. I don't know what's happening, but you should be affected by my chaos magic. You should at least be burning in some sort of way, but I don't know what's going on. As basically, she says, well, it doesn't matter. You've probably taken at least a lot of chaos magic inside of your body. But I'm kind of surprised that you took a lot of chaos magic at such a young age. At a young age, kids shouldn't really be taking this much chaos magic. It's kind of bad. But seeing as how you're powerful, that you're not affected by it means that your body has some sort of seal or something holding it back. Or at least, like, the drawback doesn't exist. Now, what actually happened to the drawback, well, with the flame drawback, is that Izuku, his body is kind of like a bottomless pit. It's like a bottomless pit, alright? His body is like a bottomless pit, just like his eyes. His body is like a bottomless pit. But his eyes are different from his body. His body is able to take in many types of energy, alright? And many types of powers. For example, if you were to come into contact with, well, Blue Marvel, he'd be able to take Blue Marvel's ability to, well, use atom manipulation, reality manipulation and stuff like that. He'd be able to use Cosmic Spider-Man's abilities or Cosmic Ghost Rider's abilities and stuff like that. That's how strong he is. That's why I said that he's probably one of the only people apart from, well, there's 3 people now, because I just remembered Cosmic Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider. Apart from the Ghost Riders and the Chaos King that could actually rival any of the other gods. And what's surprising is that he can legitimately go toe to toe with the one above all and the one below all, and actually say that he actually put up a fight against the two and made it a draw. And that's kind of a feat, because the one above all is kind of like a god. He's kind of god. And the one below all is anti-god. He's still a god in a right, but he doesn't have the mentality of a god, which is kind of surprising. So Wanda doesn't know about Izuku's powers. Izuku, like I said, he's a bottomless pit. And Wanda's thinking that he's a metahuman, and she tries to erase his metahuman ability. She'll give it back later, but she tries to erase it. But what surprises her is that she can't, because he's not a metahuman. He's not a metahuman or any way, shape, or form. It's as if he's some sort of cosmic entity, a new one or something like that. It's as if Izuku's body naturally sucks in the energy of others around him, kind of like Rogue if they touch it. But Izuku's, it's not like the whole thing with Rogue's abilities that you have to make contact with them. No, for Izuku, it just naturally does it. Izuku's body is kind of like the living embodiment of gluttony itself. Alright, if you don't know what gluttony is, well, the ability to eat without, well, actually feeling full, which is kind of surprising. So, Izuku's ability to actually take in the amount of, well, chaos energy that she has and not feel affected by it surprises her. As basically, she wonders what would happen if he got, cosmic energy or matter manipulation. Because if that were to happen, this kid would be an unstoppable force. He already is, with the ability that he has now and just taking her abilities. Because she's practically one of the strongest beings in all of Marvel. If you didn't know that, yes, she is. As basically, she just stays with Izuku, knowing full well that Izuku is still taking in a lot of her chaos energy. Oops, hold on. This game likely hit different. But anyways, yeah. So, Deku, he continues to keep going. Like, Wanda suggested they watch a movie, and that's what they did. Now, Izuku fell asleep near Wanda, and the two fell asleep. As basically, while this happened, Deku was taking a lot of her chaos energy. A lot, as a matter of fact. As the two fell asleep, and well, the Avengers come back with T'Challa, and they look to find Izuku and Wanda, and they find them in Izuku's room, they were watching a movie. As basically, They just see that he's able to like they don't know why it is, but they feel like this ominous feeling when looking at Izuku, as basically Izuku took like a lot of the chaos energy to the point where he should have at least practically infinite. Like he could be the next living embodiment of chaos energy. He's practically like he split. Wanda went from being full embodiment of the chaos energy itself to being half embodiment. Like legitimately. This man Izuku broke reality itself and legitimately broke the chaos energy. He legitimately broke the chaos embodiment energy itself and split it in two, which he then reformed. Which the two then reformed after then since Izuku's body has already made contact with chaos energy, it's now taking in chaos energy from the universe, which then repairs that half and made it a full again. Now there's two embodiments of chaos. As Wanda, she sensed this. Like, she had an eerie feeling that she sensed this. Like, you know the feeling that Rimuru felt when he got that kiss from that girl and the whole Veldora thing happened? Yeah, that's kind of how she felt as she woke up and she was like, what? She looked at him and she saw that he is now the embodiment of chaos energy itself. So she's kind of worried, but she knows that he makes smart choices, so she doesn't have to worry about it. But then she went back to sleep because this happened because the Avengers were gone for a whole week. So this happened around Wednesday. So when they came back, T'Challa tried to go and wake them up, but Wanda was just waking up at this time, as T'Challa was just about to reach for Izuku until Wanda grabbed T'Challa's hand and says, "Do not touch him." As T'Challa says, "What do you mean?" As T'Challa, immediately, he falls to his knees, not knowing why. As basically the other Avengers come to get T'Challa, like Thor and like for example, Thor tried to get T'Challa, as Wanda says, "Thor, do not come any closer." As Thor says, "Why?" As he points to Captain America and he says, "Get him now." As basically Cap went and got T'Challa and helped him up, as T'Challa was wondering, as he said, "What happened?" Because now he's just painting. Because he even though he's the king of death now, that took a lot of power out of him just to actually stay awake from Izuku's suction abilities. As basically now we skip to the Living Tribunal. The Living Tribunal is watching in fear and horror at this current moment. He is watching in fear and horror because he saw something that should never happen. Something that he didn't even think could even happen in all of his years of existing. And that is somebody actually being, there are now two living embodiments of chaos. And not only that, the boy wasn't even in the embodiment of chaos to begin with. He created a new living embodiment of chaos. So Wanda has the power to legitimately make life, yeah, but Izuku, I don't think Wanda can make a new living embodiment of chaos, can she? I highly doubt that she can do it, like, with her current abilities. But still, to have Izuku at to see Izuku at such a young age, legitimately not just making life, but supreme life. Life to the point where that one entity that he just created inside of his body should be considered a god itself. So to actually witness that happen, he's fearful, really fearful, as a matter of fact, as he goes to the one above all and he says, "We need to arrange a meeting with all the cosmetic entities." As he says, "Why?" As he says, "I'll explain it when the time comes, but we can't arrange it now because I have to do more watching of the certain person or entity." As the one above all says, "Very well, when shall we do it?" As he says, in a year. As He says, very well. But a year for them is not. A year for us is kind of like well, like a few thousand days for them. No, a few thousand years. No, kind of like eternities for them. Since well, they're watching many other places as well. They're watching many other universes. So yeah. So basically, what? So basically, T'Challa gets sat down at a chair as he looked at Wanda and said, "What happened?" Is Wanda? She starts explaining about what she discovered. Well, a week ago. She starts discovering what she learned about a week ago. As T'Challa and the others are surprised, as Thor says, "Now I understand why you didn't want me to go near him. Because if I did, he would have probably stolen my lightning abilities." And that's legitimately what would have happened. Legitimately, Izuku would have literally siphoned off of Thor's lightning abilities, just like how he siphoned off of T'Challa's King of Death abilities and and Wanda's chaos energy. So yeah, hold on. So yeah, that's legitimately what would have happened. He would have siphoned off their abilities and legitimately made them, well, not really powerless, but he would have canceled out. He would have made them powerless for a few minutes. So basically, Izuku's not gonna be able to control his gluttonous abilities. All right, it's not called gluttony. His power is not gluttony or anything. No, his power is not gluttony. It doesn't revolve around like the seven deadly sins. No, it's just that he has the ability to absorb anything around him, like any energy, like cosmic energy, matter manipulation abilities and stuff like that. So he's able to suck up energy. So that's kind of how it works. So Izuku, he woke up and like around 3 hours later. Like no, not 3, 4. Yeah, 4 hours later. It was around like 9 at that time. Yeah, it was around 9. It was around 9 at that time. So Deku, he woke up at 1. As he woke up midday and he was like, "Good morning." As oh shit, I actually had to yawn. My bad. Yes, that wasn't a fake yawn. I legitimately had to yawn for that one. So, as T'Challa says, it is 1 in the afternoon. As Deku says, "Oh, interesting." As Izuku goes downstairs and tries to get to T'Challa, as T'Challa says, "Stay over there. Don't come here." Calm. As every step that Izuku takes, T'Challa moves back 1 step. As Izuku's wondering why, as now Izuku's booking it on T'Challa now. He's trying to catch up to this man. T'Challa is legitimately dodging and weaving around the whole building, just trying to avoid this man Izuku. And the Avengers see T'Challa run by with the eyes of, well, a panicking god, like he's being chased by the Ghost Rider or some shit like that. As they look behind him, as they see a bolting Izuku, as Wanda immediately gets up and uses magic to catch him, and Deku is just running mid-air as Wanda says, "Come on, let me go get him." As Wanda says, "Nope, you can't do that. That's dangerous." As basically Wanda says, "Well, I guess it's time we bring him to Galactus, because it seems that if we keep him on Earth any longer, he'll probably suck the world dry of its energy anyways." As Wanda says, "Nope, I highly doubt that." Yeah, the one that said that before wasn't Wanda. My bad. It was Cap. No, Tony. Yeah, Tony. Because I haven't said anything about Tony yet. As basically, Squirrel Girl, she goes to the moon. She goes to see the Watcher. Well, not really the Watcher. Not really just her. Well, Wanda took her to the moon, and she took Izuku with him. As they went to see the Watcher, as the Watcher says, "Why are you here, mortals?" As well, except for Wanda. As they said, "Where's Galactus?" As Galactus says, "He's flying around the world. Where is he?" As he looks and he sees where Galactus is, and he tells Wanda, because, well, he's kind of fearful of Wanda, because Wanda could legitimately kill this dude. So, yeah. As basically, Wanda goes to Galactus with Squirrel Girl and stuff like that. And Galactus, He was just about to take a big bite out of a planet until he saw three people. Well, two faces familiar. One especially familiar. One, which is her best friend. Two of, well, another cosmic being. And two, and the third that he does not know anything about. As basically, Galactus says, "Why are you here, Squirrel Girl and Wanda?" As Squirrel Girl says, "Hey Galactus, I'm gonna need you to keep him with you." So now Deku won't be staying with him any longer, as Deku doesn't really care. He knew this was gonna happen someday. So as Galactus said, "Why?" As Wanda went to his ears and says, "You're gonna have to take him to the one above all." As Galactus's eyes widen, he says, "What? Are you crazy?" As Wanda says, "I'm not crazy. It's actually something it's actually an urgent matter." As he says, "What could be so urgent?" As Wanda uses her abilities to break reality and show her the memories, and Galactus understands. He sees, I see now. As Galactus says, "So I guess he's the one the meeting's about." As Wanda says, "What do you mean, meeting?" As he explained that there's going to be a meeting next year about like a whole new entity or something like that. As Wanda knows now that someone already saw Izuku. So yeah. As Wanda says, "Well, he's still gonna stay with you." As Galactus says, "Yeah, whatever." As Izuku, he stays with Galactus. He stays with Galactus, and now Galactus, he has to eat bigger planets now, because Izuku's siphoning off of his cosmic energy, whilst also taking the cosmic energy out of the air. Now, the one above all, he finally starts sensing Izuku. As he looks and he sees Izuku, as he sees Izuku's abilities, as he looks closely at Deku to see what is inside this boy. As he looks and he goes pale. He goes from that shiny gold he is to pale. Because he knows now that there is not only just three people, but now there is one more person that could possibly kill him. Well, no, for a fourth person that can finally kill him. Because, well, it's Chaos King that could fight him. I don't think Ghost Rider can, but Cosmic Ghost Rider, I have some sort of hope. Don't know, though. The one below all, possibly. As basically, he's fearful, because what he saw was just darkness. It was darkness. It was so dark, as a matter of fact, that his light couldn't even radiate in that darkness, which scared him. As Deku's just eating the cosmic energy without knowing it, as he's practicing the abilities that Wanda told him about and stuff like that, reality manipulation and stuff like that. As basically, Izuku, he does that. As basically, Izuku stayed with Galactus. His hair got real long, as you see in the picture. As Deku continues to, well, train. As Deku made a whole tiny ass planet for himself. He made a whole tiny, like legitimately, a subspace. Kind of like a subspace. Yeah, like a subspace. He keeps it in a cube. And basically, he told Galactus to hold the cube, as Galactus wondered what it was. As Izuku says, "Well, I'll be seeing you someday? I don't know." As Izuku went inside. Now that subspace has practically infinite space. Anything he can imagine happens inside. So it's kind of, well, it kind of defies logic itself. So as Galactus just keeps the cube, it's a really big cube too. It's not a small cube. It's a cube that can fit in Galactus's hand. So it's not like a small cube that Galactus will lose anytime, any place. No, he's gonna be able to actually see it, cause if it was like human size, Galactus would have probably lost it. So it's kind of the relevant size that Galactus can legitimately hold it with his hand and put it in his pocket or something like that. I don't know if he has pockets though. As Galactus just continues in eating and stuff like that, and now he's able to eat and he's back to his, well, normal state, because this man Galactus was kind of skinny due to Izuku eating away at his cosmic energy. Now we skip to that year. to that year, Izuku has been using his powers a lot. Quite honestly, there was a point where Izuku actually, like a whole 5 months before the meeting, 5 months before the meeting that year with the cosmic entities, Izuku went into a deep slumber. A really deep slumber, as a matter of fact. And it's kind of like hibernation for him. Because his body was evolving. His body was evolving, actually, at a rapid pace. Because Izuku, while making the box, he figured out something called matter manipulation. As that happened, he discovered matter manipulation. And now he takes matter manipulation out of the air. He takes the energy of matter manipulation out of the air. Basically, any energy his body comes into contact with, he automatically starts taking it at a high speed. As Izuku, he's in this deep slumber right now. Not surrounded by, like, anything like that. No, he's just sleeping on a cloud. Just sleeping. As basically... So basically, we skip to the meeting. As basically, the one above the Living Tribunal says, I think Galactus has the boy with him. As Galactus says, yes, I have him. As Galactus proceeds to take out the cube. As everybody's wondering, is the person that cube or something like that? As the one above all says, oh, so he's in the cube, I presume. As he says, yes. As the one above all says, can you get him out? As Galactus says, well, he said I have to knock to get him out. As Galactus knocks countless times, but he doesn't know why Izuku wouldn't come out. And he knows Izuku isn't stubborn, so he's kind of confused. As basically, the one above all says, let me break it, because it seems that he didn't use really much strength to make this, so I'm still able to break it. As the one above all breaks it. And immediately when he breaks it, they just see a young Izuku just sleeping on the cloud. Legitimately. Just sleeping on a cloud. As, well, most of them thought he was cute and stuff like that. Like the kind-hearted ones. I don't think they're kind-hearted, but still. Yeah. As they just... As, basically, the one above all says, nobody go near him. Well, at least at a time. But sadly, that his advice wasn't going to help them in any way, shape, or form. Because the moment Izuku was near them, since they're big as hell, Izuku's kind of small. He can extend his body to the size of them and even bigger, but still, he doesn't want to. As then, Izuku, he practically gets into contact with them. Like, he legitimately, he's just, like, just him being in their radius, immediately, they all feel somewhat weak. They have a lot of cosmic energy, not cosmetic, cosmic energy, as basically they immediately feel that their cosmic energy is being sucked out of them. As then one above all starts seeing that Izuku's body, the reason, as he says, oh wow, so that's what happened. As they all look at him as he starts saying, the boy's body has taken in a lot of our energies, including chaos energy. So his body and matter manipulation energy and many more. There's practically lightning energy inside of him as well. That's probably from Thor or others. But he didn't get to meet Storm, which is kind of sad, because I really wanted him to meet Thor, to meet Storm. I know I'm the one that created the story and stuff like that, but still, plot convenience. He'll meet Storm in the future. As basically, the one above all explains that his body is evolving to the point where he could possibly just taking things at a rapid speed of infinity. Like, he doesn't even need, like, the moment he just wakes up, he's probably going to be sucking up all of their energy at infinite of speeds. As we're quite fearful, but not at the same time, since they kind of have, like, a lot of energy, so they're not really worried. And plus, since they're near the one above all, who practically has infinite energy, so they're not scared about it. But what they did not realize is, it's kind of bad that Izuku is near them. Really bad, as a matter of fact, because he's around all of these niggas. All of them. So that is a bad thing. A really bad thing. As Deku, he proceeds to have evolved. Like, they were talking for a long time. A long time. Like a really long time. So it was kind of like an eternity. Just one eternity. As basically, like for them, it was just like a few hours, but for eternity, it would kind of be like an eternity. Like for us, it's just like one day, but for them, it's kind of been like eternity. So they've been talking for one day. As basically, Izuku's finally done with evolving, and the one above all says, "It is done." As Izuku, his eyes open. His eyes still black as ever, still dark as ever. As basically, Izuku just opens his eyes. His eyes, just darkness, just his black pupils surrounded by white, and Deku just opens his eyes and he starts sucking up all of the cosmic energy, chaos energy, matter manipulation energy, any type of energy near him, he is sucking it up. Hold on. So yeah, with that happening, after Izuku taken a lot of their abilities, the moment he came into contact with all of their energies, he unlocked magic, reality manipulation, fiction, and many more, which he started sucking it up all out of, well, existence itself. To the point where Izuku started to weaken everything. Alright? He started to weaken everything. To the point where he had to be pushed out of everything. Which surprised everything itself since, well, Izuku, just like T'Challa, was existing out of everything. So Izuku was the second person to actually exist out of everything. So Izuku made big achievements in the in cosmos, like crazy. In the cosmic beings, to the cosmic beings and stuff like that. But Izuku, he became different. The one above all looked at Izuku, not just his outside appearance, but his inside appearance as well, and he saw that inside of Izuku's body, it's like a black hole, or more like an infinite storage. And he looked at Izuku's outside body, and he sees like little mouths in every atom, every electron, every proton, neutron, every quark. It's kind of like a little mouth. And his body has infinites of atoms inside of his body. As Deku's just eating just cosmic chaos, gravity and energy, and he's just doing it unconsciously. As basically Izuku, after doing that, he also has some of the energy to well understand knowledge. As Deku legitimately, immediately, he opens out his hand. Like, he goes back into everything, as he goes right in front of all the cosmic beings, holds out his hand, and he says, "Be still." As immediately a whole shockwave goes through everything in the universe, multiverse, and stuff like that, as everything became still. Everything. There wasn't one thing that was not still, as a matter of fact. That was only for a split second. Not for long, but for a split second. As basically the violent rapids that were being in actuality and existence because of Izuku's gluttonous abilities to take in every form of energy, it stopped. It calmed down. As the one above all said, "That's good." As Izuku, he then started to look like this, because now he wants to look like this. So now he believes in existence and stuff like that. As Deku looks at all the cosmic entities as well, he says, "Oh, you guys are the strong ones. I want to fight you all." As all of them, hold on. As basically most of them, practically all of them, except for the one above all and the one below all, are like, "Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea." As they are all saying, "Yeah, no, you gooch. We don't want to fight or train for that matter, cause none of them want to fight him. None of them. none of them want to fight him. They're quite honestly fearful of this kid now, because this kid's body is literally the living representation of gluttony itself, which was surprising since there have never, ever, ever been a living embodiment of gluttony, at least to this extent. And Deku, he says, how about you two? As he points at the one above all and the one below all. As the one below all says, as long as we can double team you. As Deku says, aloud. As the three start fighting. Like, legitimately. They legitimately start fighting. The one below all gave his power to the one above all, so the two just started fighting. They duked it out, since the one above all has an actual, like, fucking body. So the one below all gave the one above all his body some of his power as well, as the two started duking it out, using many different types of things like cosmic energy, reality manipulation, and basically it's just a not gory fight, just like kind of like a reality breaking fight. As the two fight, as that's when the cosmic beings heard words that they thought that they never hear from the mouth of the one above all. I surrender. I admit defeat. As they all widen their eyes in shock as they say, as basically Izuku says what? As they explain that he is the one above all. There's nobody that could actually combat him and actually win. Sure, there have been some to actually make him give him a little of a struggle, but still, you're the first to actually beat him. As Deku says, okay. As basically, Deku, he says, well, now it's time to go train my powers. Deku, he makes another cue, as he gives it to the one above all and says, I'll be going to train my abilities for now, since now it's much stronger than the one above all's abilities. And the one above all says, God damn it. As basically, Deku, he's in there for eternities. Eternities and eternities. Eternities to come as well. So there is no stopping him. And eternity feels, well, his abilities. Is eternity a boy or a girl? I'm confused here. Hold on. Yes, eternity is a male, not a boy. A male. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, I don't classify people with boy or girl or anything like that. Yeah, I find it as an age group classification. That's how I find it as. So basically, if you're a boy, you're a kid that's just like been newborn or to at least like the age of 10. And then you're a older boy, like teen to adult, young boy. Young boy. Sorry. You get the gist. Alright. So I either classify you as female or male. But hey, I will say he, she, and stuff like that sometimes. But like the chances of me actually saying he and she is very low, cause oh my god. So yeah, Deku's in there for eternities to come and stuff like that. As basically eternity feels, well, her abilities inside. As Deku just training his abilities. As basically they all feel their abilities being trained at the same time, as they're confused about how he's able to do that. Reality breaking, you can make clones now! Yeah! So yeah. Deku's using clones to make his abilities, since, well, he's using chaos energy to make the clones, and he's the embodiment of chaos now, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. So Deku, he's also siphoning off of their knowledge as well. See, his abilities don't siphon off their energy or anything like that. No, it siphons off their physical attributes, their speeds and stuff like that. Yeah, physical attributes, durability, not skin tone. Well, he can if he wants skin tone or just like overall appearance. So if he wanted to, he could look like the one above all, the one below all. He could look like the Celestials. Hell, if he wanted to, this man could look like the Living Tribunal, Galactus. He could look like any one of them. As basically, but he does not. He will meet the Chaos King soon, but not now. As basically, Deku, he's basically training his abilities. Like, yes, like I said, he takes their knowledge as well. He takes their knowledge. He can take their speech patterns and all that stuff and stuff like that. He takes knowledge from them. He doesn't take their knowledge to the point where they become dumb. No, what he does is he actually takes a copy of their knowledge, like an exact copy of their knowledge from the things that they've seen since they were created to, well, the end of time. Because I know the one above all has the ability to see the future. So yeah. So basically, Deku does that. That's basically, Deku just trains and trains and trains and trains and trains and trains and trains. As Deku, like for everybody, like we skip to the My Hero verse now, and the My Hero verse, everybody forgot about Deku except for All Might and Nezu. Nezu, because he finds Deku as a failure of a hero, All Might also a failure of a hero and a terrible successor. Now, Bakugo remembers him because, well, that's Deku. He tried to be a hero, so he lasted off for days. But all of them kind of forgot, well, about Deku except for Uraraka. Because Uraraka started dating Bakugo, and Bakugo was always talking about how Deku is weak and stuff like that. And she kind of gets annoyed by it because, well, he's only focused on Deku. What about me and shit like that, yeah. That's kind of how it works. So, yeah. So Deku, so like, yeah, that's kind of what happened. So technically, it's been kind of like 4 years, because Deku's going to be going back when he's 18. It's kind of like 4 years, alright? 4 years. 4 years. Alrighty then, it's 4 years. Legitimately 4 years. It's been like 4 years and stuff like that, and they basically just training and training and training and training. Yay, they're training. He's just training, alright? As then, Deku, he feels like it's time to go out and go back to Earth. Alright, sure, he doesn't like Earth, but the only reason he's going back is for the Avengers, T'Challa, and to see, well, his now, the one he fell in love with now, because he finally realized that he loves Squirrel Girl, so he's going back for Squirrel Girl and the others. Not really to, well, be a hero or anything like that, because if he was a hero, it'd be rather easy for him to actually just mollywop a whole villain. So yeah, he dog waters them with just a snap. So, yeah, as Deku, on his way back, he comes into contact with somebody that, well, most of the cosmic beings do not want to come into contact with, especially Eternity. And that is, like, this man's Deku, he legitimately became an embodiment of legitimately all of them. All of them. Alright? All of them. He's now the new embodiment of the Phoenix Force. Like, legitimately. He's a perfect host for the Phoenix Force. And there was only, like, two perfect, perfect matches for the Phoenix Force. So he's a White Crown Phoenix. And he also came into contact with the Star Path, and, well, let's just say the end. Well, he took the power of the Star Path. Not all of it, but, like, the power of it. Hold on. Yeah, I got the name wrong. Completely wrong. Well, not completely, just the last word. It's actually the Star Brand. Yup. Alright then. So, yeah, he hasn't come across the Star Brand anytime soon. He'll come across it on his way back to Earth, but not right now, though. He comes across the Star Plague and the Chaos King. Hold on. So he comes across the two. The two stab. Well, the Chaos King stabs Izuku with the tendril-like fingers it has. Well, the sharp fingers it has. Yeah. He stabs Izuku with it. Izuku's not gonna die, obviously, because he now has Ultra Healing. And he has matter manipulation, and he has the ability to manipulate, well, reality. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of gonna be hard to kill him. So, he stabs him, and he pulls it out. But what surprises him is Izuku is already healed. As he's confused, as he proceeds to go attack Deku. And the moment he gets close to Deku, Deku grabs his face and slaps him around a few. Grabs his face, well, can't really grab a collar that doesn't exist, so he grabs his skin. Legitimately, he grabs his skin. And he proceeds to slap him. The Star Plague, he legitimately absorbs it up. Alright, he made a tiny cube and he absorbed it up into that one cube. as basically Deku takes the Chaos King as well, sucks it up, and he just keeps the two. They're captives to him now. He just keeps them captive. Does nothing whatsoever. As Deku is flying back, he's just flying. He wanted to explore. Well, and he came across like this group of people fighting, and you know, he saw this person wearing this badge that looked like a star. As you know, the person saw him as he flew to Izuku, and he touched Izuku as immediately he started feeling weak. As Izuku says, "What are you doing?" As Deku says, "Oops, sorry, my bad." As he snaps his finger using reality manipulation, giving him energy. Not the Star Brand's energy, because he doesn't know of it right now, but he gave him energy. As Deku says, you okay? As he says, the Star Brand, I can't feel it anymore. As Deku says, Star what? As he explains what the Star Brand is and how he gives power to defeat a certain foe. As Deku says, oh, so that's the energy I'm taking in right now. Interesting. As the Star Brand feels a disturbance, as basically it appears on Izuku's hand, as Deku says, oh, interesting. As Deku just says, well, I guess I have it. This is it, right? As they said, yeah, as Deku says, I guess I can give it back to you. As Deku touches him and the mark, where the Star Brand mark is, as he recharges it with the original power it had. As Deku says, well, good luck with that, as basically Deku proceeded to just fly to Earth. He flew to Earth, and he flew right into Wakanda. Zoom! As he broke through the barrier and stuff like that, as they thought they were under attack, as then T'Challa got ready, as he just saw this kid with long green hair, as he said, Izuku? As Izuku says, ah, hey T'Challa. As T'Challa says, ah, hello there, my friend. As, I don't know how to make the voice. I used to, it depends on like which certain sentence. Wakanda forever. But anyways, yes, so Izuku, as Wakanda told him to stand down, this is not an enemy and stuff like that, as Izuku says, so where's everyone? As he explains that, well, they went back to the tower. As Deku says, oh, okay then. As he saw an unfamiliar face come out, as it was Storm. As Deku says, who's that? As T'Challa explains, this is my wife, the goddess Storm. As Deku says, so we're just marrying goddesses now, huh? As T'Challa chuckles at this and says, well, I guess we are. As Storm says, hi, nice to meet you. As T'Challa says, Storm, don't touch him. That's a bad idea. As Storm, thinking that T'Challa is just being strict with her, telling her not to touch him because he thinks that he's a bad guy, but she soon comes to realize the moment she touches him, she feels really weak. As Deku says, oops, again with that. As he snaps his fingers and she has the power. As T'Challa says, I see you're able to control your reality warping abilities. As he says, yes, I have. As he says, any other abilities you have? As he says, yes, practically every type of ability. I can manipulate molecules inside the world and many more. As he says, so you're telling me you've taken the powers of Galactus and many more other strong people? As he says, yes, I have. As he says, okay. As basically, Izuku, he says, well, I have to be going now. As T'Challa says, wait, but you haven't, but Storm says, wait, you haven't eaten it, haven't you? As Izuku thinks, he says, no. As basically the two go. As basically Izuku, yet he's sucking their powers, but he's also giving the power. It's kind of like a cycle right now for him right now. It's kind of like a cycle. So Izuku takes the abilities and gives it back to them, just continuously going in circles for the two of them, so that they don't get tired. So yeah, so anytime he's near somebody with power that energy that he can practically take, he's giving them back. As basically during the dinner table when they're eating and stuff like that with the whole fam, like the full fam, T'Challa explains about like his wife is goddess, how he owns that like galaxy and stuff like that, and how he confused with his gods and stuff like that. As Deku says, oh, where are the gods? I want to meet them. As he explains that you can only meet my gods if you're a Black Panther. As Deku says, haven't I defeated you? Make me Black Panther. As T'Challa says, fuck it. Like legitimately, he says, fuck it. He beat me. He has a point. As they do the ceremony to become Black Panther, and he became Black Panther. He met their gods, he met their predecessors and stuff like that. And the first predecessor to actually walk up to Izuku and actually legitimately feel familiar to Izuku is actually the one that wielded Mjolnir, as he's familiar with Izuku, and Izuku just starts petting him. As they all see that Izuku is not a threat whatsoever, and Deku met the Tiger God, the Panther God? Panther God, right? Yeah, I think it was the Panther God. It's either that one or the Tiger God. So, basically, he met him, and basically the two chat for a while having the Panthers around him and stuff like that. And basically, Deku, even though he's not actually related to any of the people in Wakanda, they just gave him the memories, as Izuku felt okay with it, because, well, he's their family T'Challa's like family to him, so he accepts them in any way, shape, or form. As basically, Deku's done talking to them, as basically, T'Challa says, well, you're Black Panther now, and you can talk to them anytime, so I guess you'll be leaving. As Deku says, yeah, I have to go see them. As T'Challa says, so do you have a lover or anyone you like in any way, shape, or something? As Deku blushes a little bit, as T'Challa, he says, aha, so you do. So who is it? As Mizuku, he mumbles a little bit and stuff like that. As he says, Squirrel Girl, as T'Challa says, huh? I didn't hear you. As Izuku gets annoyed by this after T'Challa asking a few, and he says, alright, Squirrel Girl, god damn it. As T'Challa laughs and says, alright then, go get your girl. As T'Challa encourages him and stuff like that, and Izuku leaves. As basically Izuku, he goes to, Stark Tech. He passed by some people and stuff like that. And quite honestly, he doesn't like them at all. At all. He likes nobody on Earth, okay? He likes nobody on Earth. He hates them. Now, Deku hasn't got into contact with Cosmic Ghost Rider yet, but still. He's gonna soon enough. Because Cosmic Ghost Rider is going to actually legitimately go after Deku. Now, legitimately, he's going to go after Deku. Cosmic Ghost Rider is going to go after Deku. And not just Cosmic Ghost Rider, every Ghost Rider and every Cosmic Ghost Rider. As basically, Deku, he's basically talking. He's basically talking to himself on the way there. And he finally sees the tower, and he goes inside. As Izuku, he hacks into it. Alright, he hacks into it as Stark gets the line that somebody has hacked into his technology, but Stark says there's only two people that can hack into my technology, either Wakanda or Izuku. As he looks to the cameras and he sees it's Izuku. He says, oh, alright then. As basically everybody was in a fighting stance ready to beat ass, as he reassured them that it was just Izuku. As Izuku walks in, and the first person to actually run and hug him was, Squirrel Girl. As Izuku hugs her and he says, I'm back, as they all go and talk to him and stuff like that. And Thor was kind of cautious, but Izuku reassured him that he's going to give him his powers and stuff like that, so he wasn't worried. Wanda's not really scared because she practically has infinite power, and quite honestly, the two of them are equal in strength when it comes to, chaos energy manipulation, since, the two of them practically have infinite of amounts. As basically, Squirrel Girl was pouting since, she didn't get that much attention from Izuku, as basically Wanda notices this and she says, Izuku, why don't you go with Squirrel Girl? And Squirrel Girl started blushing immensely, as they were wondering why, and then they look at Squirrel Girl and they caught on. They were like, yeah, why not? As basically, the two, they kind of went outside for a walk and talk and stuff like that, until Deku finally confessed. Yay, my boy Deku confessed. As she was silent for a few, but then she jumped on Izuku and she just kissed him. Legitimately. She just kissed him. No tongue, just lip kissing, alright? As she's crying, as she says, yes. As basically, they start dating. They come back inside holding hands, and Stark says, well then, I guess it happened, huh? As Izuku says, yeah, it happened. As basically, Stark said, how would you like to be one of the Avengers? As Izuku says, nah, I want to be a hero by myself. Sure, I'll still work with you guys, but I want to be a hero by myself. As Stark understands this, and he says, alright then. As he says, so will you be going back to Japan? As Izuku says, honestly, I don't know. Because then again, I have yet to go see my mother's burial place after she died. Because, there was a funeral. Stark told him about the funeral and stuff like that. Because Squirrel Girl asked him to find information if there was going to be a funeral or anything, and there was. And the one to pay for the funeral was Izuku's father. The father's not all for one in this, no. There was just money in the bank account and stuff like that. Like the father, he died. Alright, he died, but he put in some money for Inko and Izuku's funeral and his funeral. So yeah, so Inko's funeral happened. Mitsuki was crying and stuff like that. So yeah, Bakugo was crying, reminiscing on what he did, but then he still hates Deku. So basically, Deku says, yeah, I guess I'll be going back. And Squirrel Girl says, I'm going with you. As Deku says, okay, fine. As Izuku and Squirrel Girl go to Japan. Alright, they're gonna be working in Japan, since they don't have to worry about Izuku, about like them having a hard time getting back, because Izuku reality warping. And they get to Japan, and Deku is going to go see where Inko is, as basically he looks and he sees none other than Aizawa. As Deku, he looks and he's just, as he's about to walk away, as Squirrel Girl says, Izuku, what's wrong? As she looks over Izuku's shoulder to see Aizawa, as she jumps ready to beat the living crap out of Aizawa, as Izuku catches her, as Squirrel Girl says, no, let me beat his ass. As Aizawa hears this, and he turns around to see Squirrel Girl being held up by this kid with long green hair. He doesn't know who this is, because, well, Izuku's facial features just fucking changed and stuff like that. The only thing that stays is, well, his hair. His hair color is green, but a lighter shade, as you can see in the picture. As Squirrel Girl grabs Izuku's faces, she says, come on, Izu. You have to man up. You have to at least show them that who's boss. As Aizawa hears Izu, and he thinks Izuku Midoriya. As he walks up to them and he says, excuse me, but might you happen to be Izuku Midoriya? As Izuku turns around and says, well, what if I am? As Aizawa says, we need you to come back to UA. As Izuku says, why is that? As Aizawa says, it's been terrible. The crime rate of villains have gotten bigger since you left, and a lot of things have happened. All Might is now retired. Bakugo is not a worthy candidate for the quirk, and All Might is currently being ridiculed by his predecessors. Being ridiculed by his predecessors for picking Bakugo over you. As Deku says, but what's it to me? I was suspended. I don't really care about it. So why should I? As Aizawa says, but problem child. That's as Deku says, that's nothing to me. It's not my school or anything. As Deku just walks off and says, bye. As Deku just proceeds to continue just walking. And basically, Deku, he goes home with Squirrel Girl, and, they talk about what happened and stuff like that. Squirrel Girl is still pissed, but Deku managed to calm her down. As Deku says, well, I'll be going to train now. Have fun while patrolling, as she says, yeah. So, yeah. Deku, he just goes in and trains inside that subspace of his, and that's probably where I'm going to be ending it off This has been part 2 to What If Deku Married Squirrel Girl. They're not married yet, they just started dating. So calm yourselves, calm yourselves, calm yourselves. It'll happen, but not right now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you may be wondering, how did All Might get retired? Was it All For One? No, it was actually Shigaraki. It was Shigaraki, alright? So in this one, he's weaker than Canon since he wasn't getting powers from the predecessors. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been part 1. This has been part 2. This has been part 2 of What If Deku Married Squirrel Girl. And I hope you guys enjoyed. About the thing I said earlier, like when I first started this, please don't ridicule the hater in the comments, alright? Because you all understand how I am. I don't want problems. Well, it's okay to cause problems as long as they're not too big. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Lotus What Ifs out. Bye, guys.